I did a show with Karis once, and on stage he said, "Your music will outlive you. Everything that you put out will be here longer than you are." And
Right.
ever since he said that, it was kind of like, a little seed in my head that just kept growing, because now that's how I see music. Because
Mhm.
not just for right now, but maybe okay, it's all cool, but I feel like, especially with me having kids, I feel like something that my kids and my kids' are gonna be listening to, and I don't want them to be listening to, and then I smoke weed and fuck hoes and you know what I mean, all that shit. I feel like I want them
Yeah.
to get to know me a little bit through my music, because I know if my dad or my grandpa made music, I would be listening to like, oh my god, like every single word he says. So that's kind of how I look at it, and I feel like it is a responsibility. Words are, I feel like, very powerful and very important in what you put out there. And for me personally, that's why I take longer writing, because it's easy to just write bullshit. But when you actually want to say something, when you actually want people to learn something from your lyrics, for me it takes longer. And I want to make sure that I put out the right message. So I think
Yeah.
it's super super important. I think that we do have a responsibility as artists.
That's beautiful that Karis won, and actually, meeting him in person was what planted that seed or whatever for you. Because I
It
think
was
a lot of
amazing.
us, haven't got the chance to meet Karis one, but he still passed some of that idea on to us through his music and
Man, it
just his
was it was
online
Oh
amazing.
yeah,
presence
yeah.
and
He was a
everything.
preacher,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like exactly what you would expect, and him in his hands, and he had everybody in the palm of it. He was just like rapping, and everybody like everything he was saying to. And I remember because I was hosting the show, and I remember going up to me like, "How do you want me to introduce you?" And he goes, "I don't need no introduction." And he takes the microphone. It was kind of like, "Yes, this is exactly what you would expect from KRS One." Right?
Yeah, for
It was
real.
amazing.
Epitome of an
Uh,
MC, man. Yeah. Sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead, B1.
Uh, so I don't necessarily have the same answer as Eddie necessarily because I view this in a more I don't know. I think it's a complex thing because expression and art to me are things that can take you in a lot of different directions, right? If you need, like, for example, if you're in a place, you're in a really dark place and you need to express something, what you're saying in the song might not be great advice, but
Right.
it can be a beautiful piece of art. You know what I mean? So I think it really depends on what the record is and what it means to you. But generally, with that said, I think there's an accountability with anything you put on wax or anything you put into the world and it's attached to your name, right? I think there should always be responsibility and accountability there. And I wouldn't say anything or put or record anything that I thought was destructive to people around me or anything like that.
I think
With
that
that,
you and the fact that you're thinking about it, because I feel like a lot of rappers
yeah,
just rap to sound cool, or just what I mean, say
yeah,
what's cool these days, or oh, people are using that word, I'm gonna use that word. Oh, people
yeah,
are
yeah, for
rapping about
sure,
Yeah.
Bugattis,
for
I'm
sure.
gonna rap about Bugattis. You know what I mean? And I feel like
Oh yeah,
even just being conscious about, I don't want to rap about no bullshit. I think that's just even in the right direction, because we are,
100%.
and I feel like that's where
Yeah.
conscious quote unquote music comes from, because we're not just rapping to rap, or you know what I mean. Most
Mhm.
rappers straight up lie. You know what I mean? Have this like fantasy. You know what I mean? Kind of like, and oh yeah, I don't really have a car, but it sounds cool. I've heard rappers
I'm
say
gonna
that to me,
rap
and I'm
about
like,
my Bugatti. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
like, what
yeah, no,
Bugatti? You
for
don't, you
sure,
don't even
for
know how to
sure.
spell Bugatti. What are you talking about? And I feel
Yeah.
like it's, for me, it'd be easier to rap like that, because it's just whatever. La La
Right.
Land. What rhymes with Bugatti? But like to actually mean something, and to actually, have some substance. I think it's a lot harder, and it takes a lot more effort.
Right. Well, the thing with me is like I write from such an internal place, such an honest, like introspective place naturally that I don't really sit there and think about like I need to be responsible. I just write what comes to me, which is my truth. You know what I mean? I just put that
Mm-hmm.
on a record.
Yeah.
Period.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, and I think to like my advice to any writer or rapper is just there's no need to overthink it or be pretentious about how important you are. Just fucking write what means a lot to you in your real life. You know what I mean? Like,